like to say a special hello to the newest member of the Night Show band. It's Lincoln Blake on keys, everyone. Lincoln Blake out of Belfast. Our first guest is chief meteorologist at CBS 13 and Fox 23 in Portland, making his first appearance on this show. Please welcome Charlie Lopresti.
Welcome aboard.
Charlie, how are you? Good to see you. So, welcome to our show. We got to know each other years and years and years ago. We used to do our show on the UPN station in Bangor, UPN 30. And we shot the show at Channel 7, the studios at Channel 7, because they were sister stations, and you were meteorologist at Channel 7 at the time.
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought that up, because it was probably 14, 15 years ago.
Yeah, 15 years ago, I think,
we hung out, and we've seen each other a little bit between now and then, but one thing I do remember, we used to finish up our weathercast, and it was always very quiet in the studio. Yeah. And then the night show would come out, and it would be loud, there'd be cowbells ringing and everything, and it was outstanding, though. I'm so glad you're at it, and this continues 15 years later. So.
Thank you, and I'm glad you're still in Maine, by the way, I might add, because sometimes we see people leave Bangor and go someplace like Walla Walla, Washington, and we never see them again. Yeah. But you're in Portland, and you've been at CBS 13 how long now?
About 12 years.
Wow.
12 years, and then Bangor prior to that, we were down in Providence for a little while. I didn't like traffic, so we decided to come back to Maine. and prior to that, I worked on Mount Washington for a while. But yeah, it's great to be here in Maine, and they call it vacation land for a reason. And I think it's kind of a hidden secret we have for the rest of the country.
Yeah, we don't want people from away coming in and figuring this out.
Exactly.
You worked at Mount Washington. You may not know this, but you worked with my brother-in-law.
Oh
at
no,
Mount
I didn't
Washington.
know that.
Yeah, he worked on something called the Weather Notebook.
Okay, yes.
And he knew you through your work there. What did you do on Mount Washington?
My job was to be a weather observer. I was a staff meteorologist up there. I worked with some of the other meteorologists. You might know Sarah Long. She was she's also a meteorologist. She's at Channel 8 now. Yep. And let's see. So the Weather Notebook was run by Brian Yeaton, and I was a weather observer. So that meant I had to go outside every hour on the hour to take weather observations. We did important research for big companies like NASA and Michigan Aerospace and things like that. So it sounded
Drop
real
a few
important.
more names, Charlie.
Yeah, it sounds real important, But to be honest with you, if you're a weather nerd, kind of like, all meteorologists are weather nerds when it comes down to it, because we love storms, and Mount Washington's a great place to be and live, just because you get the winds that gust and hurricane force a third of the time.
Now you say that. I've never been to Mount Washington. I've never been at the top. I've seen the bumper stickers about cars that climb it, which I never think is all that interesting, but whatever. But I found some video. Actually, I think you sent us the video of you on Mount Washington, and I thought, okay, what's this? Like you in a bad suit? Look, I don't know. So let's look at this video. This is Charlie on Mount Washington. The wind, it looks a little fierce, and so, but it also looks like you're wearing the Invisible Man Halloween costume. I don't understand.
Well, I remember this day very, very clearly. That this day, actually, that was not me. That's my shift mate. That is Brian. I'm holding the camera here.
The truth comes out. Look at him, he goes away. So Brian is now, unfortunately, off the mountain.
He's gone.
He's gone. He blew off. They did a movie about him. Tom Hanks played him. It was wonderful.
But the wind that day was 145 miles per hour.
My God!
Yeah, it was 145. And the one thing that's nice about living on top of a mountain, there are no trees up there, and there's nothing that's going to fall on top of you, so you can go outside and play around in the snow like that guy Brian was. He was always a little bit lighter than me though, so he would get tossed around in the wind a little bit easier. But great place to live and work, great place to visit.
Clearly,
and, it's awesome. Yeah, it's outstanding. If you love weather, I know there are a lot of folks out there that love weather, and it's a cool spot to visit for sure.
And it seems like your science doesn't stop at, or your love of science doesn't stop at weather. You also grow giant pumpkins.
Yeah, so it was funny when you asked me to come on the show. I was like, well, being a weatherman I'm automatically a target for comedians, just being a weatherman. So here's the weatherman that grows this giant fruit. So we've always, our family enjoys growing giant pumpkins competitively, which sounds silly and ridiculous.
No, not at all.
But I grew up working on a farm, which probably has which started some of my interest in weather, and I've always enjoyed growing things. My grandmother always taught me to grow her tomatoes from Sicily, and you know, once you kind of get that down, you're like, okay, what's next? But when you grow giant pumpkins, they'll grow 40 pounds a day in the summer. 40 pounds a day. I actually had one this summer growing 40 to 45 pounds a day.
Wow. Sounds like me in college.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the freshman 15. Remember that? Yeah, that's what happens. So it's been exciting to you know, see how fast you can push the limits on these things.
Sure.
And I think the other thing about growing giant pumpkins, which is a lot of fun, is our lives are so structured. You know, you go to work, you go home, you have kids and everything. Yep. But I think everybody needs something that just is completely off the wall, something that makes no sense whatsoever.
Like this show.
Yeah. That's your outlet. I love it. Growing giant pumpkins has been kind of my outlet in that sort of situation.
Well, we have one of your champion pumpkins here. I don't think you knew it, but this is one of Charlie's. Pretty impressive. Look at that.
I love it. Pretty good.
How do people get into growing pumpkins? How does that work? I mean, I guess seeds.
Seeds, yeah. So a lot of it has to do with genetics. Good genetics, good soil, and good luck. That's what we like to say are the three things you really need in growing giant pumpkins. I used to do it with my dad when I was a kid. We'd grow like 200 pounders, and I'd be like 7. Like, Dad, this is awesome. Let's grow another one next year. And once I moved to Maine, I started going to the Cumberland Fair, and some growers, big-time growers, would invite me to, you know, give me their seeds, and I start growing some. You start learning different techniques, and part of the fun of it is the science of it, where you try to find the best genetics possible. And so like in the winter when it's cold outside, you look at all your seeds and you try to find out where the mother and the father came from. And it sounds silly, yeah, it's bizarre. It's kind of like breeding dogs.
It sounds perverse.
Yeah, yes, exactly. So the science of it's kind of fun too. And you trade them like baseball cards. You trade, you know, I'll give you my seed for this seed. And it's a whole thing.
It sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah,
and,
it's very geeky.
And you brought seeds with you, I understand.
I did, yes. And my idea was I'm hoping to get everyone involved in growing pumpkins. So who wants to grow a pumpkin with me next year? Yeah. All right.
On a Nite Show pumpkin patch.
You too?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right.
Why not?
So you can catch Charlie. Well, when is the Damascotta Pumpkin Fest is tomorrow,
That
and
is
you
right.
can catch Charlie on CBS 13 and Fox 23 weeknights as the chief meteorologist. And we're going to start calling you Charlie Pumpkin Seed, if that's all right.
I like it. Very good. We'll
Here
go with
comes
that.
Charlie Pumpkin Seed, ladies and gentlemen.
Right.
Charlie Lopresti. We'll be right back with Anna Roman right after this.
Guests of the Nite Show stay at the Holiday Inn Bangor.